HDTV is brought to you by Harley Davidson Financial Services, Northside Harley Davidson and the Fraser Harley Davidson Group, and the Bayford Group, celebrating 100 years, along with Harley Davidson, Australia.
Gotta get on the road, gotta get on the gas. Got that white line fever, I really wanna pass. Gotta stay on the road, that feels like home. While sitting on my Harley, I'm never alone.
Previously on the customisation of Dundo's 2006 Dyna Lowrider, the McCulleys had redesigned and begun its transformation. Most of the parts on this bike now have been turned by hand, and the bike was starting to take shape.
We've got the bike basically finished to mock-up stage. We've got a couple more bits and pieces to machine up, but nothing we can't do while the bike's disassembled. We've got the horn cover machined up. That'll be mounted up there somewhere. That's something we have to take apart, send off to the chromers. The front grille area, we'll tidy that up a bit, send that off to the painters. Got the air cleaner made, a new ignition cover. Yeah, we're gonna machine up an aluminium strip to go around there to match in with the theme of everything else we've machined up. That'll be painted, but we'll get our strip chromed with some stainless bolts put in it. I'm still debating whether or not to change this headlight. I might try and get a more rounded style headlight. Even though there's no particular theme on this bike, I think it's sort of got a bit of an aviator look to it with all our exposed bolt heads. I think the headlight which I'm looking at, it's rounded, it sort of resembles an aircraft engine, like a jet engine. It's got that little sort of swoop to it. The front guard, it's undercoated, but that was just temporary so we get a visual. That's still going to be sent off, prepped, ready for paint. We've got our temporary guard spaces in there. We've got some chrome ones ready to go on. Bracket, we have to get that re-chromed. Yeah, so we're pretty ready to start pulling down. We might actually start ripping that down today, I think. So we're going to start getting some things sent off to the painters and the chromers.
It's all hands on deck as this bike gets stripped down for the last time. Next time we see Dundo's Lowrider, it'll be the real deal. With the swing arm at the chromers, it's time to meet up with the boys who'll be painting this bike.
We'd already told the boys about our paint idea, and we had Brad. He looked after it. He took it on A1.
Met the boys from McCulley Customs, Danny and Matt. Good blokes. So they had a vision of the tank and the guards all looking the same with a brushed aluminium sort of look. That was the owner's request to make it look old. So we set upon trying to do that.
It's still going to be like an iridescent thing where the grain
shows through.
pops through.
Yeah.
We didn't want it over the top blingy. We just wanted it nice, subtle, classy, but minimal. But what was there had to be special.
Yeah. Blend it there. You'd shadow it there. And blend it down a little bit, sort of in here. Yeah. Lose that up here. Yeah. So to still have a slight bit of overspray.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Brad has a firm idea of what the boys are after and begins to prep all the parts for painting.
The effect you're getting of a shadow chrome, like your shadow chrome wheels and everything, is the shiny black showing through the chrome we're about to paint on. It's just like a cellophane almost over a light, like a candy. So, which then gives you that shiny black look through it. But we're going to pretty much cover the black. So.
Once all the aluminium look was overlaid, we called Sean from Predator Airbrush in.
You can start now?
Yeah. All right. I just want to get going on this practice piece, so...
Yeah. All right. I'm going to put you in now.
Okay, yeah.
So you can do what you like.
Yeah, no worries.
Quickly blow these off so there's no water.
Sean is a professional airbrush artist. It's no coincidence he's ended up on this job.
Come up with a few different references just so we can sort of get the texture right. So we'll just experiment. We've got the sponge ready to go. Tin Man. So for example, the bottom half of the tank, I thought you'd come up with this sort of...
do that with the spongy effect?
That's what I was thinking, yeah. I haven't tried it before, it's pretty experimental, so I thought we'd just do it on a test panel and see what it looks like.
We're having a bit of difficulty there for a little while, and we ended up using a sponge and getting the texture we needed.
Nice
You know what I mean, like
texture
that, and then just blow over it again.
Yeah.
See what that looks like.
Danny from McCulley he had sort of a really tight rein on us, and he knew what he wanted. So between Danny and Sean, they come up with the sponging effect. But I think with what we had in the end was a really good result.
It took some hours, but I tell you, I wasn't leaving until we got it right.
Now that everybody's happy with testing, it's time to let Sean get stuck into this paint job.
That's it. Any up there?
If anything, wait till it dries right up, just so it's sort of more like that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and you can still see the silver behind it, so I'll start bringing it down.
I think Danny was pretty happy in the end with what he wanted. He got his vision. I'm sure he's pretty happy with it.
Without saying this bike was a theme bike, we sort of did envision some sort of theme in our head. We wanted an old school, say World War II bomber, you know, with the old rivet look, the sheet metal look, the old school name on the tank.
I think it needs to be at around about that height.
A bit higher, yep. That's the way.
Putting Dundo's nickname on his bike was never discussed. The boys are hoping he likes it.
They told me what they had in mind for the paint job, but I couldn't picture it. But when it come back from paint, the black into the silver, into the raw metal, it was awesome. I seriously wish the bike was mine at that stage.
After the break, it's onto the seat. Dundo's bike is nearing completion, and we're getting down to the finishing touches.
We called Con from CKT up to take care of the seat for us. Me and Matt got ready before he got there. We panned the seat in fiberglass, and Con was to take it away, foam it, and put the leather on for us.
Con is considered one of the leaders in custom leather seat building, and he's done numerous projects with the boys in the past.
When he came, he was pretty stoked with the bike. He kept going on about the swing up. You know, he loved the swing up. Oh, it's different, you know, he loved that swing up.
Had you been this up just with an ox here?
Press and yeah, oxygen.
Awesome.
One thing that we do different than most other people, all our seats fit in snug and perfectly moulded to our tins. A lot of people have just say a seat panel just gets slapped on the back. You can see the lines, it just hangs over and whatever. But we like ours tight, following the tank, in line with the rear guards, so it just looks like it's meant to be.
I made it this way, bolted in here so I could drop it down. You can get that sort of drop seat effect.
It's got a cool look to it.
Probably want a little bit of embossed stuff going on, and maybe a logo, maybe even stitched in. What do you think?
You carve?
I think better carve it out. You get a nicer look, and I can go more into detail too.
I really wanted an aged leather look. I didn't really want a cut-out thing. There's a lot of them, they do all those, you know, they carve all the leather carving and all that. I just wanted something cool and something plain.
We got the seat back. The colour was probably a little bit different than what we first initially thought we were going to get, but I must say, once it was on the bike, it really hit the nail on the head.
He's fantastic at his job, so if you ever want to see it done, Connor's the bloke. Apart from being fantastic at what he does, he's absolute pisser. He's a funny bloke. The tins, the bars, they're back from paint, everything's back from the chromers. Time to start throwing this bike together. Now the wiring, what a headache.
I'm over it now, I'm tired. Too many late nights.
Matt had this idea in his head that we've got to have this bike done by midnight.
When's this have to be done by?
Tonight.
Yeah, right.
Midnight. We've got to the end of today.
The clock's ticking.
So we were going like cut cats to get this thing done, braided lines, everything. The bike was still sitting there half done and we're thinking, are we going to get this done?
I actually had a deadline by 8:30 the following morning, but I had to let Danny believe the deadline was midnight, otherwise he would just slack off.
I'd arranged to pick the bike up at 8:30 on this Sunday morning, so Matt assured me everything was running like clockwork, it was all good.
On the front we've installed some LED indicators, just nice and hidden, instead of big, ugly, bulky ones. Had the Reaper there, he was in and out, moving back and forth, letting us in, getting out, getting in, getting out. If you ever want your bike detailed, I'm telling you, this bloke loves his job. Calling the Reaper, he's so passionate what he does.
Oh, I'm just going to clean it as they go over, you know, every time they do a bit, give it a clean and...
Free up,
Yeah, if they're on this side, I'm on the other side. I was here, I don't know, a month, 6 weeks ago, and...
No, it was only about 2 weeks ago, mate.
Oh,
Longer than that, mate. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. It was a couple of weeks back anyway, but look, I put an engine brightener over the motor and, you know, just brightens the casings up and helps darken the fleets in there and stuff, but it was not the brand I normally use and it went a bit sticky. I'll try and get all that off and then just put the other engine brightener that I've been using on. Yeah,
we had the bike kept thrown together. I had Nigel giving his hand doing the hard lines. It ended up working well. One thing went to another. It was stressful, but you know, he just rolled. Today we finished bolting up the swing arm, the wheels are on, all the wiring taken care of, tins, got most of the tins on, hoses are all connected, we're just about to top up the fluids, put the exhaust on and fire up.
We went over schedule, we were there longer than midnight, we're all set to start the bike.
It's now 4 in the morning, and this is not the sound the boys wanted to hear.
Tried firing the bike up, there's no spark. I'm thinking, what is going on?
This could be a long night. Next time on HDTV, you'll see whether the McCulleys can get this bike started. But after the break, we're off to Northside Harley Davidson for the launch of the brand new 2018 range of bikes. With the brand new Harley Davidsons hitting the Australian shores, there's a fair buzz about. And after riding the bikes in the USA on a media launch, we sent out Neil Brumby from Heavy Duty Magazine to see what the people thought.
This is the launch of the new 2018 Softails at Northside Harley Davidson in Brunswick, Melbourne. There's a lot of people here who've never seen them, but I think most people here have already heard a few stories about how good they are, the improvements that have come with them. So we're going to go for a bit of a look around.
He didn't have to look far to find riders thinking about upgrades.
I got an old 2002 Juice. It's still going okay, but I'd love an upgrade. I think I'll go the Fat Boy. They've got to keep up with the times, I suppose. They've done that well, I think. There's a lot of people not happy, but I'm more than happy.
Looking good. The boy's got his eye on the street bob over there. Street bob's nice. I like its minimalist look. It's stripped back. Simple bike, old school. If I was going to buy something, I'd trade up to the new model of the Street Glide. I really like the fact that it's big enough to do a bit of two up touring, you know, long distance touring, and still fun enough to just get on and have a bit of a muck around on.
And the Fat Boy?
Just looking at the bike, the thing that impressed me the most was new frame with the mono shock. They've lifted the frame, more ground clearance, which is good, and I can't wait to get on one.
Someone that can make that happen and explain how these bikes have come about is this guy.
We've dropped the Dyna and we've dropped the Softail families, and they've come together and we get the best of both worlds now. So we get a solid mounted, balanced engine through a powertrain, monoshock chassis, so you're going to get that beautiful, precise handling with a powerful Milwaukee 8 engine. Just makes for an all-round better rider's bike. The Fat Bob's got that kick-up exhaust to give you better ground clearance on the right-hand side when you come through that sweeper. Some of the other ones, they've got that staggered exhaust, so the front is a little bit further forward, the rear sits a little bit back, so the whole range now has got really fantastic ground clearance. If you look at a lowrider, it's very much similar to that late 70s lowrider that everyone loves, but with a modern twist, a bike that looks and feels very traditional Harley, but handles those corners, you can really throw it around, which is what the modern customer wants.
And speaking of the modern customer...
Well, it's my first time I'm sitting on a Harley, like on the driver's seat. I really like it.
And it sounds like some have already got them.
Street Bob, unreal, mate, unreal. 107, plenty. Responsive, smooth, that still got the sound of the Harley, that V-Rod torque. I want to do engine work, but I'll be honest with you, it does not need it. It's a killer. Handling, my missus loves it too, mate.
It's very, very comfy. On the way here, we were going over speed humps, and I said, "You can't do that in the shovel." I'd be in the back, on the back, going, "Oh, it hurts, it hurts."
I don't hear her in my ear anymore, like doing the old, you know, every bump. So it's like, yeah, that makes a world apart, you know. Full on. No, it's sick. It's real good.
Darren was so convincing that he had others thinking they were already out on the road with the wind in their hair. And after the break, we do exactly that with a 2018 Heritage Softail. With the model year 2018 range of Harley Davidsons now available in Australia, HDTV couldn't wait to get our hands on them.
Well, 2018 Harley Davidson are celebrating 115 years in the business, which is actually a bloody long time in anything automotive. With it, they've brought us out the new Softail range, this being the flagship, the Heritage, and pretty much the top of the line in the new setup. This one probably suits me best. The back of it's a little bit higher in the Heritage, therefore giving it a steeper steering head angle. So it's quite nimble on the way into turns and on the way up.
What we've got is that the shock is above the swing arm now, driving into the backbone of the motorbike and giving a forward motion in impact on the rear wheel. You particularly feel it when you hit a speed hump or a pothole in the road, but the bike actually, its impact drives it forward rather than upwards. The 114-inch engine we got here has certainly got enough mumbo, particularly off the bottom. That's where I'm feeling it over the old two valves. The delivery off the clutch and straight up off the lights in first, second and third gears is really usable at low RPM. Very, very controlled feeling motorbike. Personally on this bike I'd like a little bit more front brake. There's only a single disc on the front. But I think if you went into the accessories catalogue you could get yourself some fork lowers and another caliper, probably in a different colour too, and fix it up if you wanted a little bit more brake on board.
But for you normal people who are getting around and don't need too much more, this is a really good setup. You've got the screen, which is very easily pull-offable, and you're riding naked, round town looking like a hero. Going on a trip, bang the screen on, keeps the wind off, the bugs off, and the fatigue way down. Literally, you'll double your mileage with the screen on. Here's a nice little Heritage touch though. We've always been used to the Heritage bags with the tassels and the buckles and all the gear, and they've really been a piece of the motorbike. This has taken it a lot further. We've got a one-step push button, open up, big volume bag. That's doable while you're riding along. So if you need to get at your bottle of water or anything like that, just flip the lid, get in one-handed. Great setup, a la Tourer. and as well as 2 bolts there off the back, so as you can do your street cruising in naked form, looking as cool as. One of the lovely things about these new models too is they're a keyless operation of the motorcycle. So you get the fob, you put it in your pocket. Once the bike's registered on you within the distance, everything's operable straight as you'd use it. So you don't have to switch on ignition, anything at all. Just hit the ignition button and start button, and she's off and running. So it's you don't have to chase the thing around with keys, lock things up, unlock them or anything like that. Very user-friendly motorcycle to operate. Once you've left the bike within a vicinity of probably about 5 metres, nobody can get at it. The alarm's going to scream at you. You're going to hear it in the middle of Woolworths if you're in there. So there's no danger of the bike getting nicked, but you can literally, with your fob in your pocket, you just walk away from it and you're all alarmed up and as safe as houses. The other bit I like about this particular Heritage, besides the beautiful champagne colour, that's to die for, isn't it? But the other thing I like about it is the black out through the bike. Very, very subtle distribution of black and chrome. Really puts a lot of quality and a lot of expense in the look. Mr. Harley and Mr. Davidson have done a beautiful job with this one.
Well, it seems Paul Hallam is very happy with the Heritage. Let's see what the rest of the team thinks. First up, Michael.
This would have to be, I think, my favourite because I'm so used to riding Softails. What an engine. It's just like, it's got so much torque, so much power. I took the screen off. The screen was on before, but I took that off because it's just getting so hot right now. But feels good, looks great. This is my baby. Hey!
Exit Michael, enter Matt.
The Heritage is Old Faithful. It's a good old rocket. They just keep getting better. It's one of those bikes you can actually ride it pretty hard in corners, but you can cruise on it as well. I love the blacked out look, but no, really nice bike. I actually like the Heritage.